"42 Encampments and the 42 Generations." Did you know that the 42 wilderness encampments in the Torah portion Masseh, from Numbers 33 to 36, lines up with the 42 generations in Matthew's genealogy of Yeshua? That's in Matthew 1:1. That's no accident. These are not two different stories. They are one story woven together to show us the journey of God's people, from slavery to promise, from exile to home, from chaos to new creation. The sages counted 42 distinct encampments during Israel's 40 years in the wilderness, each stop commanded by God. Every resting place shaped Israel into a holy congregation to prepare them for the land of promise. Think about those stations, from the chains of Egypt to the shelter of Sukkot, from the bitter waters of Marah to the refreshing springs of Elim. Each camp was part of their transformation. The wilderness then became a spiritual classroom. God stripped away Egypt's excess and the grip of its idols. He taught his people contentment. He trained them to depend on him alone for food, for water, for protection, for life itself. The journey was hard, though. Snakes slithered in the dust. Wild beasts stalked the edges. Hunger and thirst pressed in. But every miracle reminded them their survival came from his hand, and his hand alone. The 42 encampments mark movement from chaos to order, from emptiness to fullness, from darkness to light. They echo creation itself, when God hovered over the void, over the deep, and spoke life into being. And then Matthew, he picks up the pattern. He begins his gospel with a genealogy arranged in 3 sets of 14, 42 generations in all, from Abraham to David, from David to exile, and from exile to the Messiah. So just as Israel's wilderness journey had 42 stages, so redemptive history unfolds in 42 generations, culminating in Yeshua. Abraham represents promise, David represents kingship, exile represents the end of self-rule, and Yeshua represents the final fulfillment, the one who completes Israel's journey and brings the story home. And Matthew does something very radical. He includes 5 women: Tamar, Rahav, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary. Each one lived through shame or loss. Each was an outsider, a Gentile, an outcast, or marked by scandal. And yet each was carried by grace into the story of redemption. Matthew is saying the final encampment is not just about Israel, it's about the whole world. And Yeshua's own life mirrors Israel's journey. He passes through the waters at his baptism, just as Israel passed through the sea. He is driven into the wilderness, facing the serpent, where Israel once failed. He ascends the mountain and delivers the Torah anew, like Moses did at Sinai. His path retells the story, but this time with victory. But this is not their only story. It's our story. We too are on a wilderness journey, moving from chaos to order, from bondage to freedom, from exile to new creation. And like Israel, like Abraham, like Ruth, like Yeshua, we face many obstacles and challenges along the way. Abraham built altars and called on the Lord. David poured out psalms of lament and trust. Ruth clung to Naomi in loyalty and courage. None of them were perfect. Abraham lied. David sinned. Ruth was a despised outsider, but God worked through them because they turned to him when faced with hardship. That's the real test. Not the obstacle itself, but our response to it. Will the chaos define us, or will we let God use it to shape us into his people of faith? The wilderness is not wasted. It's where God forms his people.